Hello, Eric the Computer Guy here. Welcome to my Slot 1 build-off entry.
Eric's a computer guy.
This build-off competition was started by Uncle Mike's Retro and Gaming. A lot of other channels have joined into the build-off competition. All of their channels and videos related to the Slot 1 build-off will be linked down below in the description of my video. Please go check those videos out, as all the builds in this competition are awesome. A lot of them are custom built, some use OEM parts. Mine happens to use mostly OEM parts. With that being said, let's get into the build. The parts and why I chose them. I chose the computer as it's the only Slot 1 system I had. It had a CPU in it, and it was known to be working when it was put into storage in 2018. It is a Dell Optiplex GX1P desktop computer with a 500 MHz Katome-based Pentium 3 CPU on the Slot 1 architecture. It has 256 megabytes of PC-133 RAM, a 40 GB hard drive, a Diamond Stealth 3 S540 32 meg PCI video card, a CD-ROM drive, and integrated sound. It did have a sound card in the build, but that did not work very well. It was causing system instabilities for some odd reason. Another thing causing system instability seemed to be the memory, and that was fun. I had to do a memory rodeo basically on this computer. I had to tear it apart 3 times and put it back together to get to this point of where I was able to do the benchmarks. So this system nearly died on me, and I nearly did not have a Slot 1 build-off entry. Okay, so we're just going to clean it up because it's been sitting for a couple years, and I just want to get the grime off the case, even though it's not in the best of shape. I just want to get any contaminants off of it, as that's what I do with every computer that's been in storage for a while. It's just my protocol. And as you can see, it is a little dirty on this rag. Yeah, that's not something you want to touch. So we're going to open it up now and just check and make sure everything's fine capacitor-wise, because they can go bad sitting in storage. And the row of capacitor seems fine. There's a few, I think, on the other side of the board that we're also going to check, but I guess not. I guess there is nothing over there, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I'm going to move the CPU heat shroud just to see if there's anything hiding behind there. Everything looks good, so it should be good to go. Gonna give it a quick power cycle. I did apparently replace the CMOS battery in 2018, the last time I tested it. And it does have a hard drive with a Windows 98 installed that we're not going to be using, as that's from years ago when I wasn't the greatest at this stuff. Okay, so we're going to do the upgrades, and we're going to start off with the riser card, putting the sound card and video card in. And the screwdrivers weren't the greatest, so I had to use a pair of pliers to loosen some of the screws. So we're installing our sound card, which is a CT4780, and the Diamond Stealth 3 S540 video card. I kind of dropped the thing a little bit there, couldn't reach with the camera in the way. Now it's on the RAM. I decided I wanted to go with 328 megabytes of RAM, but later on I had to reduce it back down to 256 with one of those original sticks. Now it's on the hard drive replacement.
A few moments later.
We're going from a 10 gig to a 40 gigabyte hard drive. I had to get a proper screwdriver for this. And the reason why is the 10 gig drive just won't fit everything we need on it, or at least I thought so. And I just wanted to use another one of my 40 gig hard drives. So taking a couple screws from this drive that doesn't work to put on the other bracket for a DVD-ROM drive, which I did later swap out for the original CD-ROM drive in this computer when I had to do some diagnostic testing. And with that, we're installing some ribbon cables. So right now we're just inserting the Windows 98 CD that's totally legit. And here's the time lapse of Windows 98 installing. It's just a typical time lapse. I'm not really gonna bother narrating this bit. Just enjoy the music I put over it. Quake 2 OpenGL performance was 46 frames per second for the Slot 1 build, 25 frames per second for the Rage mobility of the Gateway Solo 9300. Software side of things, the CPU of the Slot 1 build yielded 26 frames per second, and the Pentium 3 of the Solo 9300 yielded 38 frames per second. Unreal Tournament ran phenomenal on this system in 3D mode, no software render here. It's a lot better than the Gateway Solar 9300 of my last video, where we had to run it in software mode. So I'm excited about that. We got to run it in 3D mode once again. It played smooth, it was fun, it was fast. The Slot 1 system deals a significant punch on the GPU side of things in 3D Mark 99, but the CPU, there's quite a big difference compared to that Gateway Solar 9300's 700 MHz Pentium 3 Coppermine T CPU. The Rage Mobility AGP 8MB is no match for that Stealth 3 S540 PCI 32MB video card. I just want to say thank you to Uncle Mike and all the others who took part in this Slot 1 build-off competition for allowing me to join in at such a late point in the build-off, as most of the videos have been out for about a week, going on almost 2 weeks by the time my video comes out. I appreciate the help I had gotten on Twitter by many of my followers, giving me little bits of insights on how to get this thing back up and running. With the help of you, the help of the tech gods, this computer is up and running for the time being. I never thought I would take part in any type of build-off competition on YouTube, but here I am, and it was a fun process. I really have to say, it was fun. The system, had I done this again, I would have probably went with a high-end Coppermine CPU, like a 750 megahertz Coppermine CPU, 256 megs of RAM, probably a Voodoo 3 AGP card, and a couple other variations to this setup, like a CRT, and probably the same sound card, to be quite honest. So very little change, but a totally different system, totally different chassis. Something a bit more non-proprietary, I'd say that much. I'd definitely be using Windows 98 again if I were to do this. Matter of fact, I am planning on building a much better Pentium 3 system for my main Windows 98 rig. So if you do want to see that, that will be a little ways out on the channel, but it will be happening as soon as I can get all the parts together. That being said, Eric the Computer Guy signing off. Peace.